Hi, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Let's talk about that gut feeling that we have. That inner instinct that some of us seem to be able to follow. If you can really become in tune with yourself and be able to discern which one of the inner voices that you have, because we all have many inner voices, which one of those is worth listening to. You know, people need to understand that not all those voices in your head are worth listening to. Now, what do I mean by voices? I'm talking about that inner dialogue that we all have. Everybody has it, every single human. You're not the only one who sits and talks to themselves in their head all day. Everybody's doing that. The voices that are talking all day, it may be talking about nonsense, it may be judgmental, it may be anxiety-filled. It may be voices of depression and shame and guilt, right? It might flip-flop between a lot of these different things all day long. But then beyond all of that, you have what you call your gut instinct. And people need to learn to trust their gut instincts more. That gut instinct is a feeling, and the more that you get in tune with that feeling, the more you can pay attention to it, the more you can notice it when it arises, and you can learn to trust it and follow it. Some people who have learned to trust their instincts have saved their lives, have done amazing feats, have had what you might call luck. Is it a psychic energy? It's hard to tell what that is, but the more that you pay attention to your gut instincts, and the less that you pay attention to the mind chatter that constantly goes on inside your head. So it's a simultaneous action of focusing and releasing. It's kind of a duality. And when you release that mind chatter, when you can get beyond it, there's a way to get beyond it, but when you do, that gut instinct, that feeling that you've been so used to guide you, has a voice. Oftentimes, that voice is too quiet for us to hear because we're not used to having the ability to pay attention to it, because we're so busy listening to all these other bullshit voices. The Buddhists call that monkey mind. Pop psychology calls it self-talk. I like the monkey mind image better because they think of it as like a little monkey bouncing from limb to limb on a tree. If you've ever seen monkeys play around and they do that, this is the way your thoughts go. Just bounces from thought to thought to thought to thought, randomly, and all the thoughts are useless. This is the cause of suffering for a lot of people, because it sends us on an emotional roller coaster ride of highs and lows, flip-flopping us between outrage and fear, anger, depression. You think your way into panic attacks. It's not like it's a stink that you walk into, like someone farted and you're just like, oh, what's that? A panic attack is all going on in here. It's not external. You get beyond all that mind chatter. You find a way to release it, and I'm going to tell you how to do it. You start to be able to listen to that inner voice, that inner feeling, your gut instincts. Or it's a voice. Like you hear my voice now. Just like you hear those voices in your head. That voice gets louder when the other mind chatter, the monkey mind, calms down. When that gets quieter, your gut instinct, that inner you, the true you, that's the real you deep down in there, It's been waiting for you this whole time. You can learn to listen to that voice. The more you listen to it, the louder it gets. The more it speaks up. So those gut feelings, those gut instincts become loud voices. It's wonderful to have. It can guide you. Who knows where that shit comes from? That inner you, the real you, is connected to a power that most of us have kind of forgotten that we had. There is kind of this hive mind of humanity. This is where psychic abilities come into play, empaths. Everybody has the ability to be connected to others. You have the ability to predict what's going to happen to you. Many people already do this. That's what your gut instinct is. I've had some really funny experiences with my gut instincts, and I've paid attention to that and realized, what was that? That was weird. Where did that come from? How do I tap into that more? That's a fucking power that I'd like to be able to control, not just have it happen randomly. And to be able to have that voice kick in more often, because I've had a lot of bad shit happen to me too, where I've been at the wrong place at the wrong time, and I've wished, well, where was my fucking gut instinct then? How come I didn't see that shit coming? God damn, where were the red flags that I should have seen? It's when you're too often paying too much attention to those voices, that monkey jumping from branch to branch. So, very quickly, there's ways to control your self-talk, to release it. Flush the toilet. Get rid of all that shit. Meditation is a good way. People have a common misconception about meditation where they think that you're supposed to sit there and get rid of all thoughts. The Buddhists tell you this. To release all thoughts and to be somehow sitting there like an empty-headed idiot. It's impossible. Try to stop thinking. Try it. Try to stop thinking. Even if you took a lot of drugs, you'll still think. I don't care how much heroin you do. You're still going to be thinking. There's no catatonic state that you could get in where you stop thinking. But it's not pointless. Meditation has value. One of the points of it is to try and you play a game with yourself. You try to control how you think. So the first step with it doesn't matter if you're sitting there in the traditional kind of Zen meditation bullshit. You can be meditating while you're riding your motorcycle. It's not dangerous. You don't have to close your eyes. It's a thought game. It's a game of thought. And what you do is you notice that you're thinking. When you notice that you're thinking, it's a slight detachment. There's one thing to be lost in the thought. Thinking about yellow cars. I'm thinking about yellow cars. But then you can step back a minute and realize that you're thinking about yellow cars. That realization that you're thinking about yellow cars is a detachment. Noticing your thought patterns. Noticing I'm thinking. Label it, thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking now. That detachment for that brief moment takes you out of the realm of the experiencer and puts you into a realm of an observer, a slightly detached frame of mind, a higher state of mind, a more stoic state of mind, a state of mind where you can control your emotions, where you're not lost in them. You can have a greater impact on how you navigate through your experiences instead of being bounced around like a pinball inside of a pinball machine, like so many of us feel that life does to us. You continually practice this. It'll, for only a few seconds, you'll be able to stay detached, and then you'll go right back into being lost as the experiencer. You can only stay on that mountain plateau looking over the valley as the observer for so long for some reason until you're back on the path, lost amongst the branches. So what do you do? That's the game. That's the game of meditation. This is what a Zen Buddhist monk or whatever, this is what they're doing, is they're playing this game in their head. And then when you get lost again in thought, you try again to detach and to label it thinking. I'm just thinking. It's just thoughts. And you realize that a lot of the stuff that you think about is so useless and silly and worthless, and you can just let it go. As you play that game, it's like a repetition. Working out in the gym, you become stronger at detaching from this realm of the experiencer and switching your focus. Outlook is everything. Switching your focus into the realm of the observer. It's basically meditation in a nutshell. Play that game sitting there on your pillow for 20 minutes and pay attention to your breathing, and that's basically it. You've done it. You'll find after that experience that you have a calmness of mind, that all that chatter isn't going off anymore. And behind it all, there's one voice, a calmer voice. That's you. That's the true you. That's the real you. That's the powerful version of you. That's the version you want to keep. Let all the other versions go. Take all the other versions with a grain of salt. Laugh at them. The one that you take seriously and cherish is that inner, quieter voice. It gets louder. There's a mantra that I use to tell myself. I believe in affirmations. I feel like that there's a lot of positive aspects to affirmations as far as retraining our brain, reprogramming our brain, like you think of reprogramming a computer. And I tell myself, I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise. I came up with that sentence many years ago. I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise. As I'm thinking, as I'm saying that sentence to myself over and over, keep repeating it. I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise. Repeat it over and over. I'm thinking about my thoughts. I'm visualizing. It's good to attach positive affirmations with visualization. The two connected is an incredibly powerful way to reprogram a negative mindset into a positive mindset. It's a powerful way to take control of your brain as the operator, to be the observer, to detach and not be so lost as the experiencer. I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise. And as I'm telling myself that, I'm imagining my thoughts rising out of my head. Each thought, each individual thought, it could be like, I like green Camaros, I like oranges, I like trees, whatever the goddamn thought is. I gotta pay my electric bill. All the thoughts are put into a little bubble, you know, like you're blowing bubbles, and they just float up. And I keep saying it to myself. I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise. And I'm imagining bubbles floating out of my head. It sounds crazy. Stay with me. As the bubbles float up into the air, because you know how bubbles just float up, they disappear into the atmosphere and are just gone. I'm releasing them all into the universe. Each one is encased in a little bubble of love and kindness. And I'm not mad, I'm not judging, I don't care what it is. I could be thinking about killing the guy in front of me at the bank. I release all thoughts to the universe with loving kindness as they arise, and they just go, they just go. And after a while, the only thing I hear in my head is myself saying that silly sentence over and over again. All the other thoughts of bullshit aren't happening anymore. The whole exercise just becomes boring and dry. And at that moment, I realize I'm there. I've taken control. That monkey mind is gone. The real me is now here. Practice finding the real you every single day. I do this all day long and try to make sure that I'm always on top of my self-talk. And when it gets overwhelming, I have ways, a couple tricks to flush that toilet and to regain control. It's food for thought. Thanks for watching.